Starting with the design, this phone definitely looks pretty cool. This bright color with rainbow lighting and this unique pattern makes the design quite appealing. It also feels quite good in the hand as it is quite slim and lightweight despite having a massive battery inside. The camera bump also doesn't protrude much despite having a larger image sensor. However, when it comes to the build quality, this is where the cost cutting is easily noticeable. The back is not glass but plastic. Even the frame is not metal but plastic. The front is protected by Gorilla Glass, but it's the older Gorilla Glass 3 instead of the newer Gorilla Glass 5 or 6. Also, there is no protection against water as there are no seals around the ports and SIM tray. So despite having a cool design, it doesn't have the premium feel of a Samsung flagship. Display is one area where Samsung always impresses, and this phone is no different. This massive Super AMOLED Plus display is great for consuming media. It has Widevine L1 certification for HD playback in Netflix and also supports HDR in YouTube. However, it misses out on some newer trends like high refresh rate and sticks to the tried and tested 60Hz. Still, it has one of the best displays in its price segment. This phone doesn't have stereo speakers, but the single bottom firing speaker does a good job, both in terms of quality as well as loudness. The sound quality via the 3.5mm audio jack is also great. Also, I have no complaints regarding the earpiece. So overall, this phone does a good job in the audio department. Camera department is where this phone impresses quite a lot. Not necessarily in terms of the image sensors, as the camera setup provided here is pretty standard. You get a 64 megapixel primary camera, an ultra-wide, a macro and a depth sensor. The front camera, however, is an impressive 32 megapixel unit. What really impresses is the image processing done by Samsung. The colors are neither too dull nor oversaturated. The dynamic range is excellent. There is also good color parity between the primary and ultra-wide angle cameras. The macro camera also takes good usable shots. The night mode takes pretty decent low light shots, both indoors and outdoors. The selfie camera impresses the most. It has really good skin tones and impressive dynamic range even in the portrait mode. This phone also supports Gcam and it does an even better job in some situations, especially extremely low light situations. Video recording on this phone was quite a pleasant surprise for me. You can record 4K videos with both the primary as well as ultra-wide angle lenses. You can also record 4K videos as well as 1080p HDR videos with a selfie camera. So overall, this phone really impresses in the camera department. Coming to performance, this is where there is good and bad news. Good news, Samsung is not using its crappy Exynos 9611 SoC, but a much more powerful and popular Snapdragon 730 SoC. Bad news, for A71's price, you can get phones with flagship grade internals like Snapdragon 855 and above. But honestly, if you're not an avid smartphone gamer, Snapdragon 730 is more than capable of handling anything you can throw at it. It's pretty smooth in day-to-day use, has very good RAM management for multitasking, and even if you want to do some gaming, this phone can handle heavy games like PUBG, COD and Asphalt 9 at medium settings easily. So yes, performance is adequate, but not even close to being best in class. While A71's internal hardware is nothing special, its software is something that really shines. The UI is filled with tons of cool features, but still remains extremely smooth, polished and easy to use. I have made a dedicated video about all the cool software features offered by this phone. You can check it out on the top right corner. One UI 2.1 is definitely one of this phone's key selling points, and it just keeps getting better and better with every update. The A71 packs in a pretty hefty 4500 mAh battery, and the battery life I'm getting is great. As you can see, in my battery drain test, this phone lasted for more than a day with over 7 hours of screen on time, and this is with screen set to 70% brightness and always on display enabled, making it even more impressive. Charging speed is also pretty good. You get a 25-watt charger capable of charging this phone to 100% in just 80 minutes. So, as far as the battery department is concerned, it's all good. For biometric authentication, you get an optical under-display fingerprint scanner as well as face unlock. The fingerprint scanner is not that fast, and you can only register 3 fingerprints, which is much lower than what you get with other brands. Also, the fingerprint animation looks so boring, with no options to change it. Other brands offer much cooler animations. The face unlock, however, is fine, though I have seen much faster ones. In terms of unique features, you get Samsung Pay built in, so you can use your phone as a credit card and just tap it to the side of a credit card machine. That's a pretty cool and convenient feature, which used to be only reserved for the Samsung flagships, but now you get it even on this phone. No sensors are missing on this phone. In fact, the proximity sensor is built under the display instead of the top bezel for more accurate reading. Pretty cool. In terms of connectivity, again, nothing is missing, including NFC. And as far as network reception is concerned, I have had no problems with either Airtel or Jio, and voice over Wi-Fi also works well. Okay, so if you just look at the spec sheet of this phone, there is nothing that really stands out, and you can easily dismiss it as just another overpriced and underpowered Samsung phone. But when you actually use it on a daily basis, you really start to appreciate the smaller details. It has been a very pleasant experience using this phone. The good looking and lightweight design, that beautiful display, reliable battery, dependable cameras, polished and feature-packed UI, and a smooth experience in day-to-day use makes this phone a very well-rounded package, especially for those who are not into hardcore gaming. Also, for those who are looking for a phone which is made in India and is from a non-Chinese brand, this phone is one of the best options in its price segment. Alright, that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. Please like, comment and share this video, and subscribe to Rontech for more high quality tech reviews. Thanks for watching.